Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Paramagurubhyo Namaha. Om Dhyanamulam Guror Murtihi Mantramulam Guror Vakyam Pujamulam Guror Padam Mokshamulam Guror Krupa. Om Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudhevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 9th of January 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Anantakoti Namaskaram, to all the great sages and to Paramatma Bhagwan residing in the heart of every single being. We are continuing our journey in further examining and opening that doorway into Jivan Mukta Sthiti and Prema Bhakti. There's nothing greater than this. This is the goal of life. This is the goal. To be liberated while living. Not just dying, but while living. Jivan Mukta means while living. And that's the great challenge we have. The challenge of life is to discover liberated living. It's the greatest challenge, the greatest goal, the greatest destination. And it is sthiti. Sthiti, the word sthiti is used in the Gita and it is used in many other scriptures also. And it means continuous, uninterrupted, non-falling, that you do not fall back, state or stage, state of abiding realization. इसको स्थिति कहते हैं. एषा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ. The last verse of chapter 2 uses this word, sthiti, in the Gita. Bhagwan Sri Krishna Paramatma describes the entire vision of that sthita prajna, of the individual who is an enlightened being. All of those verses, after Arjuna asked the question, sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, samadhi stasya keshava. Sthitadihi kim prabhashita kim asita brajeta kim. How does he walk? How does he sit? How does it describe that enlightened person? And then all the verses until this last verse are describing this sthiti, Brahmi sthiti, Esha Brahmi sthiti Partha. When we say Jivan Mukta sthiti, that is the same thing as Brahmi sthiti. It's a little bit more further way to elaborate what is meant by Brahmi sthiti. Esha Brahmi sthiti Partha. Esha, meaning this is what I've described, all of that is the state of realization, highest realization. ऐसी स्थिति जीवन में आ सकती है. Right? So, keeping these things in mind, the path of upasana, the path of Ishta Devata, because that path is very, very internal. It's internal, intrinsic, and it has to do with Ishta. Ishta meaning that, how can we say this? That which is desired. Because we have desires. We have countless desires in life. But when those desires focus and come together into one supreme desire, then we come closer to Ishta Upasana. When all of our desires are integrated into one desire, then that is going to bring us into a link with Ishta Devata. The Ishta Devata link is established through mantra, stotra, shastra, Guru Parampara. That is how it is linked, and it is linked inside of us. So remember, the word Ishta means that which we desire. in general sense. That which we cherish, that which is inwardly chosen, and it is existentially resonant. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 points here about the word ishta. One is that which is desired, that I desire. Just like we desire objects of the world, for all of the upasanas, except the Shakti upasana, it's a little different matter there. The object that is chosen is the devata by using Shakti to do the upasana. In the Devi upasana, we mentioned it already, you're not using Shakti to do an upasana in that other sense. We're using Shakti for the upasana of Shakti. That's a different matter. That's a completely different ball game. It's a completely different type of upasana. So when we already have Shakti, when we're using our mental Shakti, power, intelligence, buddhi, mind, whatever, we're using it to focus on Parabrahma, Paramatma Tattva in a dualistic sense. Yes, that is Ishta. That is Ishta Bhakti. For example, we said Bhagwan Krishna. We want to worship Bhagwan Krishna? Fine, fantastic. You can do it. Right? But to do so, our energies will become aligned when we set that destination, and then they will become aligned. In one way or another, energy is always used. But that which is desired. See, here's the interesting difference. I can say I desire to worship Sri Krishna. I have an ichha to worship Sri Krishna. That is, Krishna can be Ishta. Shiv can be Ishta. But if I say I have a desire to worship Devi, it's actually that desire itself is Devi. That's a difference. That's why that's a different matter. And the whole path is different. And it requires specialized gurus to guide through that path, right? So, leaving that aside for the time being, what we will focus on is the more dualistic traditional path where we're using energy and focusing on Paramatma in a dualistic way. Now, somebody will easily ask the question, why can't you do that with Devi? You can. You can do that in the initial stages, but as the bhakti increases, that bhakti or that internal energetic flow itself is the Mahashakti. That internal energetic flow is always Mahashakti, even when we're doing Krishna Upasana, Ram Upasana, Shiva Upasana, anything we're doing in life. That same power is active. The power is only one. The Shakti is only one. Right? But when we are doing Upasana of Shakti through mantras and through other techniques and whatnot, then that is a different matter. That is where our internal purification has to be there first. If the purification is not there, first in the other upasanas, it doesn't matter, it will get purified. But this one, in the Devi Upasana, you have to be purified from inside to do the Upasana. There cannot be any entanglements and problems and all those kinds of chaotic things going on. None of that. It will increase the chaos, or because some unusual things might happen. Right? So leave that alone for the time being. Bhakti karni Devi ki, unko आशीर्वाद देना, शिव जी की बहुत उपासना करनी. Shiv upasana, meaning Shiv mantra. Shiv mantra are excellent for everybody to do. And then if you want to do, if your things are clear from inside, then you can go further into Vishnu upasana, Swaminarayan upasana, Dattatreya ji ki upasana, all those things you can do that. If there's enough vairagya, there's antakaran mein shanti hai, koi ichha nahi hai sansar ki, then that is okay. And with the Devi upasana, you have to have physical guru to guide through that process. Otherwise, that is not to be done. Right? So that is something to very, very much keep in mind. Okay, now, the 4 points about Ishta. One is desire. Ishta means I want, because I'm in love with. If you are in love with Ram, Krishna, Hanumanji, you fall in love with one eventually. Now, it may not happen right away. It will happen eventually. Because you find so much attraction towards that. You see, so that attraction towards the form. So yesterday we were talking about this. Bhagwan ka swarup में श्रद्धा. You talked about Shraddha yesterday. We'll continue on that a bit further. Shraddha is the foundation. Shraddha Sarvesham Mata. That is the mother of all of this spiritual development. Yesterday we were looking at Shraddha in Shastra, in the Gita. As we start going through the Gita, reading commentaries, is there 100% Shraddha that this is Divya? ये दिव्य है, ये सत्य है, ये अनंत है, ये भगवान का ही स्वरूप है. That is Shraddha in the Gita. Then that Shraddha will take us into Ishta Upasana. Otherwise, our mind is spinning. So if doubts come up, I mentioned it yesterday, mentioning it again, they will come up if we take the path. If we don't take the path, we will be just where we are. We have to start walking on that path. What is that path? Scriptural reading. Shastra ka abhyas. Vyavasthit hona chahiye. Set aside time for half an hour every day, 1 hour every day, 2 hours every day. Bhagavad Gita ka abhyas karna hai. Me and my Lord, me and my Prabhu, and nobody else is to be around there. Ekant mein abhyas karna, shanti se abhyas karna. Because so many people, we're just sometimes running for what? Running from this place to that place, to this thing, to that thing. Continue. Sit down and be still for a while. Take the Gita and start with 10 minutes, 10 shlokas, 15 shlokas. Slowly read them, think about them. Because there's a fourfold process. Reading is the first, Shravanam. Listening and reading is the same thing. Then Mananam, think over about what does it mean? What questions do I have? Is it connecting properly inside of me? This is our sadhana. If somebody says the sadhana karni nahi, तो कुछ नहीं मिलेगा जीवन में. भगवान तो मिलेगी ही नहीं और कोई जीवन में भी कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. Sadhana has to be done. If we say I'm not going to put any effort in, no. 100% effort is required. And Bhagwan वही देखते हैं कि कितना effort है और intensity क्या है and what is your intention. That's what he sees. God sees only that. And then he removes the veil of Maya. Then he gives you the Krupa. Krupa is there, but we have to want that. We have to be ready for that. Patrata, in Gujarati we say patra banvu pade. Patrata means the criteria, the qualification has to be built. That is how sadhana is done. That is why sadhana is done. Everybody has done sadhana, including all the incarnations. But Guru Dattatreya Ji didn't do sadhana. He did so much sadhana. Bhagwan Ram did so much sadhana. Bhagwan Krishna did sadhana. Bhagwan Shankar bhi sadhana karte. Everybody does sadhana. When Devi comes in different forms, she does sadhana. Who is it that didn't do sadhana? Show one person even. ऐसा भी एक है जो साधना नहीं करते. ऐसे भी एक गुरु है हो गए वो साधना नहीं करते. तो हम किस, it's like, who are we? किस झाड़ की पत्ती, or some expression is like that. Who do we think we are? We have to do sadhana.
इस खेत की मूली है.
खेत की मूली, yeah, right. It's that kind of thing. If these incarnations of God have done sadhana, intense sadhana. Bhagwan Krishna mastered Ashtanga Yoga. He was a devotee of Shankar Bhagwan actually. वो भी एक सत्य बात है. Shiv Sahasranam is spoken in the Mahabharata by Bhagwan Krishna. और भगवान कृष्ण की वो भक्ति करते थे. भगवान शंकर की भक्ति करते. Everybody worships somebody. Upasana to, all the incarnations did upasana of somebody else. All the great sages have done upasanas of the incarnations, previous incarnations, or their gurus also, or Bhagwan in their guru. तो भगवान की उपासना साधना 100% करनी चाहिए. Not this kind of side attitude and चलता है ऐसा सब चलता है. It's mixed nonsense. No. Absolutely not. ये नहीं चलेगा. करना है तो व्यवस्थित करना. I'll give you simple examples. You take the Bhagavad Gita and say, I'm going to read one chapter every day. Just the chapter. But that will build the force. Just like all of you who are by Krupa, by Devi Krupa, by Shivji ki daya se, Guru Parampara ki Krupa se, aap sab yahan aa rahe. That is by their will. This Sachin is cannot do anything by our will. That's happening by their will. Wherever satsang is going on, bhajan, kirtan, manan, that is happening by divya ichha. Not our foolish egotistical things, right? So, when we are doing this consistently, like so many of you are coming here consistently, and we're listening to bhajans and mantras, and we're discussing, and we are listening to these ideas, there is a force that develops. It gradually develops over time because of the consistency. Sadhana means consistency. Consistency honi chahiye. Jap karna hai, Krishna ka naam lena hai, Ram naam lena hai, Shiv naam lena hai, karo. Do it consistently. Don't back off. Even if you don't have Ishtadev right now, no problem. If you're doing 5 malas Hanumanji, 5 malas Ganeshji, 5 malas this, 5 malas another, that's fine. Do the same sequence consistently. Aapki Shraddha, jaisi what is happening inside, go based on that. And then eventually the Ishta Upasana will come. You will see that will happen automatically. And if it doesn't happen, don't worry about it. Bhagwan to ek hi hai. Is hogo to do hai hi nahi actually. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. And we want, and the Ishta Upasana in one sense is a doorway into Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So if you're already at Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, bhakti karo sab avtaron ki, theek hai. Goal is only one after all. Ishta Upasana is not for sectarianism, fragmentation, for narrow-mindedness. It is to develop the relationship intensely through the different sampradayas, different upasanas, to reach the abodes of God. That's what that is for actually. वो जरा ऊपर लेवल की बात है. वो जो ब्रह्म स्थिति में भी लेवल्स है. ऐशा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ, वो that's मुक्त स्थिति के भी बात है. It's called muktana bhed. Gopalan Swami has talked about this a lot. Muktana bhed. Muktas are there. Jivan mukta. There are even different types of muktas. That's a much more advanced subject which we talk about in the Swaminarayan spirituality. Well, we won't go into that right now. We are interested here in actually synchronizing our life in the right way so our sadhana reaches that Paramatma by Krupa, and that sadhana is done correctly, is going to benefit us. It's going to benefit us. I mean, what is the purpose of life? Is it just to waste time? Yeah, of course we need diversity of experience. Obviously, sometimes you'll watch some movies, sometimes go for friends, for this, for parties, for this, whatever. Sab karo. Grahast ashram mein to sab bhi, you're going to do everything. But keep time in your home temple, and also the local temple, the physical mandir. Ghar mein mandir hona chahiye. Ghar ko mandir banana. That is the topmost. Ghar ko hi mandir bana de. If the whole family member is okay with that. If they're not, then have a room in the place. That's the way it's done. Have one locked off room where there's no disturbance. Bhagwan ki upasana ke liye hi sthan hai. And take the Gita. Diya karna, and start reading one chapter at a time. Read it, but it's not just reading, it's reading and see what is happening inside. So, how to read the Gita? I'm going to give you the example of chapter 12, how this is done. So remember yesterday we were talking about this. You should have a kram that you continue from beginning to end without break, and you keep cycling over. Right? The Bhagavad Gita this way. This is one thing to do. And then to select one chapter, Sachin's humble recommendation is chapter 12. Chapter 12, all of us, in fact, this is a recommendation for all of us. If we all start reading chapter 12, let's say, today or tomorrow, or let's just set a date, maybe next Thursday, Guruvar, next Thursday, some date we can select it, that we all are going to read chapter 12 every day. It's just 20 verses. What will that do? That will allow us to talk about it, contemplate together, and at the same time it will build. So how to read that? The first step is to just read the 20 verses. It'll take less than 7 minutes. Just read them. Don't think about them too much. Just read them. Just layer one. First round. Second round. You're sitting in front of the murti with the diya. Second round. Now read each verse. Take deep breath inside. After reading one verse, release the breath and try to remember something from that verse. Okay, I remember this point. Don't think about it too much. Remember one point, go on. Do the same thing for all 20 verses. The second level. Third level. Third level is to go back to the verse number 1. Read it. Okay, then read the purport. So read some commentary. There's a lot of commentaries available. One of the best ones to try to read is Swami Prabhupadaji's Bhagavad Gita as it is. Great place to begin. It's excellent. Everybody should begin there because that gives you bhakti. His commentaries are very good, and even if you disagree with it, you'll have something to disagree with. So that way you'll know why Shankaracharya ji said something else or somebody said something else. You have to have some base on which to develop your own understanding. Our own understanding doesn't develop without a base. And Swami Prabhupada ji's Bhagavad Gita as it is an excellent starting point. Even if you disagree with it, it's okay. If there's a lot of disagreements, that comes later on. Don't worry about that. Right now, then read the purport. That's just level 3. Okay, now I understand this verse. Even you gain some understanding of it better. Then you can say, "Well, I have some questions. I have this. I have that." Then we can go into it further. In our morning satsang, we have time for that. And we can also, you can ask the AIs. You can look up information. Do your own research also. But this is a serious matter. Serious in what? Why is it serious? It's a serious matter because the Jivatma is stuck in the cycle of birth and death. Bhavarog. Bhavasambhava bhiti vedanam sukha sampada karuna niketanam. Right? Bhagwan ki karuna hai. Karuna niketanam. So we are asking for that blessings of Paramatma to take us out of the cycle of birth and death. And that is the point, right? So when we start, so that is the next level. Then read one verse at a time. Read the purport. That will take more time. That will take 15, 20, 30 minutes. Set aside hour and a half to read chapter 12. Okay, today I'm going to read chapter 12. And then then do the same thing again the next day. This very powerful sadhana. But if you do it for 3 months and follow this sequence, it'll take an hour and a half to read chapter 12 and the purports, just a Bhagavad Gita as it, and let it absorb inside. And then, if possible, try to study the Sanskrit words themselves. That will be the next level, next 3 months. Stay focused on chapter 12 and let it come inside. It will start living inside of you. This is called Shraddha. It is through Shraddha that this sadhana is done. I hope this is clear. Isko sadhana that is done with Param Shraddha and with Prarthana. So before even the Bhagavad Gita is opened and all that, do some mantra, Krishna Sharanam Mama, etc., some bhajans, and then start the Swadhyay. That is the study. And as we do this, and at the same time we're reading maybe 5 verses of the Gita every day. Maybe so you have to set up a schedule that at this time, this is my time with God. Maybe it's a half an hour, maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's 1 hour. I would say hour and a half. We have time. It's like we don't have time. We have all kinds of time. We're wasting most of it. It's available. But when you are ready to say, I want to reach that Paramatma, then the time has to be spent behind that. Karna hi chahiye. And then, depending on how you can adjust it the way you want. But bring in Ramakrishna Paramahansa's teachings, bring in Vachanamrita, bring in other audios or videos. Fine, but don't keep everything scattered. Do a few things, do them well. Right? So this is how sadhana, it's not a matter of quantity, it's a matter of quality. And this is how it's the connection with the Ishta. So you begin to cherish the verses. Bhagwan ki jo murti hai, that murti of Radha and Krishna, that same murti is the Bhagavad Gita. It's not anything different. It is called Vangmay Swarup. Bhagwan ka Vani ka Swarup hai wo. Bhagwan hi hai wo. Bhagavad Tattva is only one. In the form of mantra, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishnam Tvam Gatir Mama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. वो भगवान ही है. भगवान के चरित्र, that is in the Bhagavatam, other places, वो भगवान ही है. भगवान का जो स्वरूप, the vigraha, that is archa avatar, with tremendous shraddha, with prarthana, with pujan, etc., वो भगवान है. Swayam Paramatma, Param Tattva. This is all Shraddha. So with Shraddha, that this is real, that the Gita Ji's teachings are absolutely real. It is real because our Atma is real. The Atma Chaitanyam is Param Satya. महामनोहर, वेदरस में भगवान स्वामीनारायण कहते हैं महामनोहर है वो आत्म चैतन्य. वी वांट टू उसका अनुभव करना है कि हम कौन हैं. As Raman Maharishi has taught us, who are we? So that realization of what I am, I not the ego, I the aham brahma, aham atma, that me is realized through this Shraddha in the Shastras, in the Swarup, in the Guru Vachan, etc. Isme Shraddha. And with that Shraddha, our connection, internal, energetic connection towards Parabrahma enhances. So you're using energy to do the scriptural study. We're using energy to do mantras. We're using energy for stotra patan. We're using Shakti for darshan through our eyes and ears and everything. Isn't it so? We're using energy for upasana. So we begin to cherish. For example, when we have a really tasty dish in front of us, chaat masala or something that some Indian things that people like to eat, right? These tasty dishes. So these tasty dishes are chosen, like, I like it, I enjoy it. We have this experience in life. This is our anubhav. All right. But that's at the sensory level. Vishaya ka sukh hai. And that is there also. So similarly, we begin to cherish the verses of chapter 12. Not because Sachin is saying so. You will see yourself what is that krupa. If you do this for 3 months, without break, chapter 12 ke mein doob jana. Drown inside chapter 12. Bhakti Yoga. Chapter 12 is called Bhakti Yoga. It's the best place to begin. Of course, read the Gita all the way through, no doubt. Do that also. Keep reading it all the way through. But stay focused on chapter 12. That is Sachin's humble recommendation for everybody. And when we do this, it is going to get absorbed inside. And it is just going to start living inside. That living of the words of Sri Krishna Bhagavan inside the mind, inside the heart, that is called the pratishta of the murti. Murti pratishta isko kehte hai. हमारा मन है वो मंदिर बन जाता है. Eventually, it sounds very nice. It sounds मन मंदिर बनाओ. It sounds very flowery language. It's not just flowery language. Make it real. Don't waste time. Don't waste 1 minute even. मन को मंदिर बना देना. मन को दिव्य बना देना. शक्तिमान बना देना. ओजस्वी बना देना. तेजस्वी बना देना. Don't waste time. It's not about the ahankar. It's not the way the sansar works. Boosting one's ego to show off and do this and accumulate. These things are meaningless. The actual realization is where the mental mechanism is brimming with the words of the Bhagavad Gita. It is brimming inside, and then we are able to drink the ras. इसका जो रस है वो हम पी सकते हैं. बताने की बात नहीं, इस जीने की बात है. This is called cherishing the Gita. The third point, inwardly chosen. Sachin is saying chapter 12, you may select other verses, no doubt. It is chosen from the inside, that one idea, one verse, one concept literally penetrates all the way inside our system. And that destroys all of the blockages. एक शब्द अंतर में उतरी जाए तो आपनु काम થઈ જાય. I've heard this many times in the satsang. One word has to come and penetrate inside, and it will do its work. That's it. It's not millions of words. Just one is needed. It's like a potent pill that is swallowed and digested. It goes into the system. It does its work. That is the key. It has to be swallowed, not just put in the mouth. If you put medicine in the mouth and then spit it out, what's the point? Medicine is put in the mouth. It's good. It has to be swallowed. Good. But then it has to be digested. If it's not digested, it's a problem. It has to be digestible also. And then digested. And then absorbed. And when it's absorbed, then it has to be brought into the system, into the cells of the body. Exactly the same thing is true with these Gita verses. We read them. That's like putting the pill in the mouth, you know. We accept them. That's like swallowing it. We begin the digestion, understanding this, contemplation, digest it. Then the pieces of that, begin the absorption. This is what many people don't do this. इसको absorb नहीं करते. They may digest it. They may understand it, even intellectuals, but they don't absorb it themselves. कुछ काम का नहीं. Absorb it. And once we absorb it, make it permanently inside. That is taking the nutrients into the cell, from the cell wall. You know what that cell wall is? This is a biological analogy. That is our ahankar. We may do all these things, but until it gets absorbed inside our blood, inside our mind, it stays there permanently. Once the teachings of the Gita are absorbed inside, they are transported inside. You know, the absorption in the blood is there, but then they are absorbed inside the cells. Then our thoughts, our brain, our mind, our vision, our speech, every single part of our body, mind, everything is isko kehte hai spandan. It's vibrating with the Gita. That is our goal. Gita vibration. किसको अनुभव करना है बोलो? करना है अनुभव. This is the process. It doesn't happen just like that. It's going to take time. But it will happen. If you don't back off, it will 100% happen. And isko spandan kehte hai. Spandan means it is a vibration. It is a divine vibration that the Bhagavad Gita is vibrating in one's life, in one's thoughts, in one's deeds, in one's actions. और क्या चाहिए जीवन में? We want something greater than this? भगवान स्वयं आ जाते हैं इसमें. वचनामृत में लिखा है गरुड़ प्रथम 27, भगवान ना अखंड धारक पुरुष. इसी को ही बात है. This is the way to do this. You know, so these steps of sadhana, the absorption process, study, contemplation, absorption, retention, you go inside, इसको absorb कर देना. Or don't throw it out. इसको फेंक नहीं देना. Our ahankar, you know what it wants to do? Our maleen ahankar. It wants to take these ideas and it wants to wrap them and throw them out, vomit it out. जिसको vomit कहते हैं. Think about it. It is not to be thrown out. Our ahankar is constantly throwing out adhyatmic ज्ञान. सच्चा जो अनंत सत्य है, भगवान का जो स्वरूप है, भगवान का जो आनंद है, जो सत्य बात है, अहंकार wants to take it and stay away from that. It doesn't want anything to do with that. And when we are able to turn the ahankar at the feet of Paramatma, बस हमारा काम हो गया इसमें ही सब game. And once that happens, then you are just rolling. Then the study, contemplation, bhajan, it just expands. Ananda, it's an ocean of ananda. इतनी ही बात है. अहंकार का जो समर्पण, total, but that will happen. We don't know what that is because it is very, we think we know what that is. We don't know what that is. No. We cannot know also until we get absorbed in the Gita. You will not know. Gita ka absorption, mantra ka, stotra ka. 3 things. Bhagwan ka jo mantra hai, Bhagwan ka jo naam, which is the mantra, Bhagwan ki jo stotra hai, and Bhagwan ke jo shastra hai. mantra, shastra, stotra, and of course respects to all the Guru Parampara. With that, absorption will happen. Then we will know the first, at some point we will know in this process, ahankar kya hai. It's not just Sachin explaining, somebody is explaining what is some definitions of ahankar. That's not ahankar. That is not understanding. That is just an intellectual analysis of this concept. We want experiential realization of ahankar kya hai aur iska samarpan kya hai. Two things. Ahankar ka swarup kya hai aur iska, it's turning over towards Paramatma. Ahankar samarpit, meaning the entire antakarana, mana, buddhi, chit, ahankar, it is turned over to Paramatma. It is not destroyed, it is not hated, it is not criticized, it is turned over. It is given over. It is called samarpan, atma samarpan, antarik samarpan. That is why we bow down, we have navda bhakti, we have offer flowers and fruits. These are all beginning steps only. They are extremely beginning steps, but they are necessary. If we don't do them, nothing will happen. We will just be spinning. That's all. We want to stop the spinning in Maya and satsang and this and that. We want to don't be spinning back and forth. We want a straightforward marg that no longer is getting split apart. Garada Ante number 2 Vachanamrita talks about this. Garada number 11 talks about, there's so many whole Gita ke kitne shlok hai. Karmanneva, this what is that? That shlok. Sam indriyas samatra samabuddha ye prapnuvanti. No, that's not the one. I'm trying to remember. Karmindriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vibhudatma mithyachara sa uchyate. So we don't want that problem of mithyachara sa uchyate. You maybe even following some niyams and doing puja, but you're doing it by force and इसमें कोई रस नहीं आता. And ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. It's not by force. It is by mahima. Then it is not by force. Sadhana is not to be done by force. Yeah, sometimes some disciplined sadhana is needed, but it's not by force. It is done by glory. By mahima, ki kaun hai, isiliye satsang ki jarur hai, bhajan kirtan. And then sit for sadhana. The mind is very fickle. It will go in many places. If it goes, don't worry about it. Bring it back again. Ask for blessings to keep, and start with 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Don't try to go for 4 or 5 hours all at one time. It's difficult to do that. You cannot develop that way, right? It's not necessary also. It's the quality more than anything else. And then even 20 minutes of good study of the Gita, thoda bhajan, thoda mantra, and then rest of the day, you do your karma yoga with everybody else. But keep that higher vision in mind. Uska manan chintan chalna chahiye. This is how sadhana is done. Everyone has to do sadhana. Everyone, without exception. There is no exception to the rule. Bhagavan swayam aate, he doesn't have to do sadhana, wo bhi sadhana karte. Ramakrishna Paramahansa did how much sadhana? Look at his life. Vivekananda Swami did how much sadhana? Now people are worshipping them and glorifying them. Sajanand Swami Maharaj, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, kitni sadhana ki thi unhone? Kitni Bhagwan Krishna ki bhakti ki thi? Ashtang Yoga kitna siddha kiya tha? It's not a joke. It's not a small thing. Abhi bhi jo bade sant hai throughout the world, they have done so much sadhana. So who are we to say, chalega? It's a nonsense baat hai sabhe. We have to do sadhana. But do it with ishta bal, not ahankar. Do it with bhagvat bhav, not my own ego. Aisa nahi karna, right? That's very important. Let's stop here for now. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarachi Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha Om Hrim Swaha.